that's has to shine. That's the difference between me and, you know, the next guy. I actually care and want to make sure they make money. Otherwise, what's the point? They're not making money.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
done.
Like, yeah, I think a lot of people, well, a lot of people get into business, they really don't understand business and they don't know
Yeah.
really what's involved. They think, oh, anybody can start a business, and it's like, look at the stats, about what is it, something like, oh, 50% of all businesses fail, or something else.
Yeah.
Probably higher, I don't remember the number, but anyway.
For real.
I digress. So how do you also, as far as staying up to date on you know, the latest that's going on, with any changes, you know, with ads, changes with marketing, what do you use to stay current?
Okay, yeah, well, first of all, I mean, because of my long-term relationship with Google and my accounts, they award me the beta features early, you know, okay? So I actually have privy information and things before it even gets released to the public. They actually use me for surveys and testing, okay? So that's one. Two, you know, industry leaders. I mean, I'm well-read, you know what I mean? I stay reading, I'm always on top of that stuff, you know, on blogs, the websites, you know, and just like I said, the School of Hard Knocks, you know, being there, being in the front lines. I have a bachelor's and whatever. I got like 7 Google certifications and all that jazz, but who cares, right? If you haven't made money, you know, with that.
You want to get a certification.
Anyone can get a
it's like,
certificate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just
but-
memorize it.
Exactly, yeah. But can you make money?
Yeah. Well, what you just said, School of Hard Knocks, like that sticks in your head when when you're really trying it out. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
that didn't work, and then you have to try it again and do what works.
And let me
So,
tell you, I mean,
yeah.
I'm paranoid with my money. I'm even more paranoid with someone else's. God forbid I lose somebody else's money. You kidding me? So it wasn't like a free education. It was a very, you know, intense
Right.
education.
Yeah. Oh, I completely get that. And then I think you kind of answered this already. So as far as like what you manage more in-depth versus like limited experience, it sounds like you've done Google really in-depth, LinkedIn very in-depth.
Meta, very
Meta's
in-depth.
in-depth or not as much as Google, but you would say you do
Not
have
as
a
much as
knowledge of
Google.
Meta.
Not as much as Google, just because of sheer spend. You know what I mean? And not
Yeah.
years. I mean, obviously Google came
Gotcha.
first too. I've been around when Yahoo was king. Okay, and Overture used to run pay-per-clicks. Okay, and penny clicks. That's how far back I go. So I've seen it. I've seen the big bad. I've seen everything that can happen. I know what's going on. I detected click fraud before anybody else, was even talking about that.
And then I know you mentioned, where was it? Bing, Snapchat, TikTok. How much are those more limited, or do you have a lot of experience with those?
No, yeah, I have a lot of experience with those. I mean, especially with Bing, they have the native platform, which is absolutely fantastic. Where you show up on the front page of the Bing, and they have that slider thing with all the articles, news articles. Yeah, I've done fantastic with that.
Let's see here. So I know you touched on this, but do you have an example of a campaign that didn't go as you planned, and then how you worked it out, or even if you didn't make a huge. I'm looking more for like your approach to like how you responded to it.
All right, yeah, right on. I'm gonna answer that 2 ways if that's okay. One,
Sure, yeah.
that never happens to me. Okay, too many years. I've seen everything. I've seen the big bad. I know what's out there. I know what's looking for me. I know what to do. I create scripts. I create custom coding that detects things that's going to happen before it happens. I know what's going to go wrong before it goes wrong. So things like that never happen to me. But now I'm going to answer your question. Let's pretend I messed up. This is what I would do. Perform a deepened analysis. This is my second answer, right? The answer you're looking for. I'll perform a deep analysis, all right? I figure out and look at the data. One point something was going good and all of a sudden it didn't. What happened? It's not mystery. Data don't lie. So we can look into the data, right? And it's going to tell me something. It's going to say, oh, your CTR went down. You're this, that, another. Oh, okay, CTR's down. That means I got to do this. Oh, that's up. Then I got to do this. You see, the data is going to tell me what's going on. Then the second thing I'm going to do is perform a gap analysis. What's the difference between what should have happened and what happened. All right? And then the third thing I'm gonna do is create a task list, all right, to get the job done. And the fourth thing I'm gonna do is update our SOPs so it never happens again.
I very much agree with the SOP. I didn't even mean to rhyme. I'm a rapper. Yeah, that's funny. I do the same thing. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take the 10 minutes right now to document this because this needs to be documented, and I just do it right then and there while I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, and then it never happens again. It never happens again. It's good. It's good.
So are you, it sounds like you're monitoring them regularly. Like, do you check on daily, like once a week? Like, what's your process for that?
Two things. I do two things, okay? All right, so one, I have my daily maintenance. There's no such thing as set it and forget it. You always should be doing something. Negative keywords, testing, test. You never stop testing, okay? Your job's never done. You always have some level of maintenance that you're gonna have to do. Now, besides the maintenance, I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm not kidding. I have scripts that warns me, that say, you know what,
Hey, do you have any scripts?
you know, it tells me, hey, listen, you spent, you know, you're supposed to be getting $40 calls, you're getting $60 calls. What's going on? Eddie, check it out, bro. Get in there.
So is it sending you an alert? Like, is it something that's like on your desktop, you email? Like, how does
It sends me an email. It says, hey, bro, jump in there.
Okay.
And okay, so then that's how I start my day. Okay, I don't start my day with maintenance. I start my day as a firefighter.
Yeah.
Right? And then I go in and I take care of all these emails. Let's call them tickets, whatever you want to call them. Okay? I jump in, take care of all the fires. Now, after the fires are done, I take care of the maintenance. And then, you know, the third thing I do? Scale. Oh, no one's ever going to be mad at you making more money for them.
I want to write that down so I don't forget.
Take your time.
I know Jennifer will appreciate a lot of these things that you said. She'll totally appreciate.
Right. Oh, I can't wait to meet her.
And then we do, and I mentioned it briefly, but we also have a senior strategist, Courtney. She's on maternity leave at the moment, but she comes back right after Labor Day. So she would also be, normally she would be on this interview as well, and she's the person who actually digs in, does the ads. So she would, you know, like be able to converse with you more as far as the actual ads themselves. But when you interview with Jennifer, she'll, of course, you know, a little more,
Right.
you know, dig in a little more as far as ads go on the actual technical side.
Right on. Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I can get real technical. You know, I can. If she's in an account on a day-to-day basis, I can describe a script that I would write for her that would blow her mind. You know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she is like, so she started out in college back in the 90s. Don't ask me how, she's only 30 years old. This is back in the 90s. She went to college, and she went for marketing, not for marketing, for web development. So she started as a coder. So she's really technical, understands, and then she realized she also loved marketing, and that they go together. Like a website is a marketing tool, and so she's kept up doing, you know, the techie stuff. She's an early adopter. She's way ahead of any of us. Like anybody else on the team, she's also our IT person. She's just good. She's just a techie person. So yeah,
that's great.
You'll appreciate your conversation with her.
Yeah, I know I will. Yeah, I mean, she sounds awesome. I mean, like, my first day at work, they told me to build a computer. I didn't know how to build a computer. I didn't know how the computer worked. I know, but before the end of the day, I did. I then became, from that skill set, I was able to build server rooms and the best servers and the best computers ever. You know, and then I'll never forget it. You know, like I started when I was 16 years old. For professional, working professionally for an agency, when everyone else is in high school, you know, going to parties, I was coding websites and things like that. You know, my weekends were dedicated to that. But I'll never forget it. You know, I'm saying this to say this is like, you know, I started out, you know, on a machine level, right, and then I'll never forget it, man. My boss came in with a like this book like so big. and you know, AOL, I was all about the internet, AOL, and he was like, yeah, all right, we got to learn HTML, we got to learn how to build websites. Who wants to learn it? And then he tried to get the lead programmer to do it, right? And she was like, no, I got too much work to do, I ain't doing it. And I raised my hand, changed the course of my history forever.
Yeah.
I did not put that book, I worked from Friday to Sunday night, no sleep, no nothing. I fell in love instantly. And then I started, you know, because, you know, now I start using all my database and programming and all that stuff. And then I realized you can be the best coder in the world, but so many times I'm being outmatched by lesser people, lesser products, lesser, you know, I started creating automation systems. Like, I was a really dangerous program, let me tell you. I wrote a program that automated the cleaning of oil spills in America, okay? And then I wrote the program that detects the infection levels in the air, soil, and water, automated for the first time. The technicians could do it right on their phone, breaking records. And idiots with an Access database outsold me. It broke my heart. It broke my heart.
Yeah.
I know I'm superior. Why am I losing? And that's the moment I learned marketing is everything. And then
Yes,
I
sir.
changed all my skills and I focused it all for marketing. You see, so now when I program for you know, now when I make a website, it's gorgeous, but it's trying to make money, because I watched enough videos and seen enough consumer behavior to know how to put a site together in such a way that they're gonna do this. You know?
Yeah.
Now it's not about building the best site from an aesthetic or even programming point of view, because nobody cares. The only thing they care about is making money. As soon as I realized that, my life changed.
Yeah. It can be, I was just talking to my podiatrist yesterday, and he was talking about how, you know, he does the custom orthotics for feet, and it's like about $500. And he said that he keeps getting people coming in who are complaining they spend like $2-3 grand on these shoes from this place. I think it's called Good Feet. And he's talking about how like they have great marketing. Their marketing is amazing. So they're totally snowing people and saying, "Oh, these are great." He's like, "This is plastic crap that's coming from China," and he's like, "It doesn't actually, you know, help their feet." And then they're like, "I spent all this money." He's like, "Well, I don't know. You're stupid." It's like, no, but marketing is like when it's used for bad purposes, it can really manipulate
It can
people.
really,
And,
yeah.
you know, you can spend money on trash. So yeah. If you're good at it and you can really use it for evil.
You're sure right. That's what I'm saying. You know, you're absolutely
That's
right.
why we do. Like, we help small businesses, you know, so I can always feel like we're doing something good helping small
Oh
businesses.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, let me tell you my favorite story. I come from humble beginnings, very poor.
Yeah.
So I understand the impact money can make. You understand, in your life. You know how many times people came to me with tears in their eyes? You helped me put my kids through college. This guy's rent was $10,000. This furniture company in New York. He never, ever in the 10 years was ever to pay his rent ever on time. He was always late. You know, he went from making $10,000, $20,000 a month to making $10,000 a day with me. He came to me, tears in his eyes. I paid the rent early. You know what I mean? And I'm just, you know, I can put my kid through school. I created 20 jobs. I opened another office. This is all from what? Marketing, you know? So that's what gets me out of bed, you know what I mean? Knowing that I'm making a difference. It's not, you know, it's not like, you know, what you're saying, like how you say, like marketing can be used for evil, right? But I feel like I'm using it for good.
I'm just writing a note. Because you're just like what you said about just like when you realize like, oh wow, I have to do marketing.
Yeah.
it's like if only all of our clients would have that moment.
That moment that,
money and time in there.
oh no, I need to do marketing. Yeah, I'll be honest though, I got a nudge, all right?
Yeah.
You know, this one guy, he contacted me 2-3 days before Christmas, he needed a miracle. He needed me to program this with a Groupon, okay? It's either sink or swim. He was gonna die, lose everything, or I was gonna pull this off. I worked through Christmas and I saved his ass. And I did exactly what he wanted. Amazing, everything. The sales rolling in, we're killing it. 2-3 months later, he gets his cousin who never cared about him before. You know, all of a sudden cares about him now because he's making money. And his cousin runs a big fancy web agency, and basically he hired him, got rid of me. But before he did, he gave me a lesson. And it was the best lesson he ever gave me, one of the best lessons I ever got in my life. And he told me, he said, well, first thing he said, you're gonna be hostile or you're gonna be cool. You know, how are you gonna handle this? You know you're out. You didn't do anything wrong. You did everything right, and you're still out.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? I was like, it is what it is, bro. What do you want me to do? You know what I mean? You know, so he was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna show you how you lost. Because you did not sell value. All you did was sell your service. Oh, I'm a good programmer. Pay me $50 an hour or whatever the hell. You know what I mean? What you should have done is, how much is this program worth to you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna make millions. Interesting. So for you to make these millions, what are you willing to spend to make? You see, now all of a sudden the conversation is different because I'm selling the value of what I'm doing versus my service of doing it and change the course of my history forever. And made me a much better marketer, much better, you know, and I learned from that. And I said, yeah, he's right, and I thank you for the lesson, you know, and it changed my life. I did lose a customer for real though.
But do you, like, if you recognize it's like, if somebody's not recognizing your value, like you're trying to sell to them and they're not recognizing your value, and like, do you have a limit where you go, I see this is not going to be a good fit, I'm not going to keep following up with them?
No, see, now today, I never let that happen because of that lesson. That lesson changed my course of my thinking and forever.
Yeah.
You see? So now when I talk to a dentist, you know what I say? I say, I don't start telling them price. Nobody cares about price right now. Let's talk. All right, what is your, some guy comes in, who's your perfect customer? Oh, my perfect customer looks like this. That's the first question I ask. I do the sales too, by the way. All right, cool, you do, okay. So your perfect customer looks like this. All right, how much are they spending on average? What's the average ticket, order size, whatever you call it? All right, oh, okay, you know, when a dentist, you know, it's like $5,000. It's good. Oh, $5,000, wow, wonderful. How long does it take you to fulfill that service? Because if it takes you 3 months, like real estate agents, it's gonna be tough, isn't it? You know, so this is why I'm asking these questions, you know what I mean? And then I say, all right, cool. All right, so to make that 5,000, what are you willing to spend? Shoot, I'll spend 500 to get that 5,000. Who would? Oh, now we talking. Okay, so you'll spend 500 to get a customer. How much will you spend for? How many calls does it take for you to get a customer? Well, it takes me 4 calls. So then that means how much you're willing to pay for a call. You see how I work them back? And before you know it, bing, bang, boom, we're in business. You know what I mean?
I think I'm going to hire you as a salesperson.
I'll happily take everything.
I'm going to tell Jennifer, I have a candidate.
Well,
Not quite the digital ops manager position, but you might want to put it in.
well, listen, I mean, I would love to help with sales support. You know what I mean? That's what I did in my agency. I told you. That's the reason they gave me.
We can use it.
You know?
Because Jennifer, this is important to know. So she's the owner of the company.
But she's a salesperson.
She's our rainmaker, all right? So she goes out, she does a lot of speaking engagements.
Right.
And that's how she generates leads for the most part. That's not the only way. Of course,
Right.
there's referrals. But she's also, so she's our visionary. She's the salesperson.
I figured that.
She's the sales department, okay? And she needs help. Not that she's doing a bad job. She said it's too much for one person.
It's just too much, yeah.
And then she's also our website architect.
Oh my God! I wrote my own. She's gonna love me. I think she's gonna love me. I wrote my own a thing for it's CS. It's called Green Frameworks. okay? I wrote a framework, so clean, so fast. It uses no JavaScript, no nothing. It loads in milliseconds, and I'm telling you, yeah, I think we'll get along real good with that technology stuff. Like I said, if it wasn't for me recognizing that I was never gonna make it significantly without being in marketing, I would have been a programmer for the rest of my life.
Yeah. So am I understanding correctly? Do you like working on things that have like a lot of little details and minutia to work out? Like, do you enjoy it, or is it just part of the job and you have to do it?
I enjoy winning. You know what I mean? And money's the scoreboard. So my thing is like whatever. When someone sees a problem, I see an opportunity. Even with an upset customer, I can't tell you how many times I can take an upset customer where things wasn't working well, and now all of a sudden they're buying more things from us. Why? Because one person saw a problem, I saw an opportunity. So.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. And what are your thoughts as far as balancing data-driven decisions with creative instincts? Like, would you say that you lean on one more than the other, or would you say you have like a balance of both?
A balance of both, but at the end of the day, let's tell the truth, okay? At the end of the day, it's all about data, even with the creatives, okay? Because listen, I got creative A, B, and C. You gonna tell me all three of them are gonna perform the same way? No, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
B is gonna outperform A, and C is gonna outperform. You see what I'm trying to say? So in other words, it all comes back down to data. So yes, data is king. Data is king, but creative is queen. Don't piss off the queen.
Okay, if you end up in an interview with Jennifer, make sure you tell her that data. Tell her how you started when you were 16 if you want to win her over.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, she's all about data. She's very, very good at data-driven decisions. And she's constantly in the data for all of our clients and our stuff as well.
Right on.
And then she started her business in her dorm room in college. So
nice.
She appreciates people who were ambitious.
Listen to me. Talk about ambition. I used to walk around with my laptop door to door, telling people I can build your website in front of you in a couple of days. And they were like, and I was a 16, 17-year-old kid, and they were like, oh, no way you could do that. The company just told me $5,000 in 2 months. You can't do it in 3 days. If I can, will you pay me $1,500? He said, if you can do it, I'll pay you $3,000. And I did.
Nice.
I'll go right there and be like, bah, 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 bah.
And this is all like manual coding?
Yeah, back in the day when it was just coding and Notepad. No editors. There was no. I remember the first editor was Front Page.
Yeah.
Front Page editor made by Microsoft.
I just laugh when I think about what websites used to look like.
Yeah. And then Dreamweaver. And then hey, I just taught my kid how to do websites too, and he made like the most basicest 1990 site I've ever seen. But I was like, all right, you gotta start somewhere.
I did that too because I wanted to learn HTML, and I found out I don't want to do this. I did a 1990s looking website, but I'm still proud of it because I learned it, and I'm like, oh,
that's right.
I can learn this. So I thought it was something that was over my head. I'm like, oh, this is like
No, you can.
It's like, oh no, it's like anything else like that.
Yeah, no, you can do it. But the difference is, can my son make a website? Yes. But when I make a website and when my son makes a website, it's a difference because I'm making it to make money. He's just making it because he's just trying to figure it out.
Another thing a lot of people don't understand that Jennifer has to explain to them, like, this is a marketing tool. You don't want to have a website just to look pretty.
Right. Yeah, this is not a beauty contest.
Yeah, which, of course, they do look good also because our designer is amazing. I don't know if you looked at our portfolio, but he does awesome work.
Yeah.
And you do want it to look good. Of course, there's, you don't want it to be cluttered, you want it to have breathing room and everything. But a lot of people just don't understand the functionalities that you need to have on a website for it to first, even work properly and then for it to work for your marketing. And, that's what she explains to people that, which basically, like what you said, like a lot of people can build a website for you, and you can be completely convinced that, oh yeah, I'm going to hire this person because they know what they're doing with websites, but they only know how to build a website. They don't understand the marketing side.
Yeah.
She understands both.
That's
So
right.
she
That's
explains to
it.
people. It's like, and some are convinced and some aren't.
Yeah.
But, you know, and what's funny is sometimes she'll try to sell someone, they're like, now I'm going to go with this other company. Then like a couple years later, they come to her and they're like, that company sucks.
Sucked.
Help me.
Yeah.
So she's patient too. She's
Yeah.
like, I might not have sold them on it now, but in a couple of years,
Oh,
they
yeah.
just might come back to me.
Oh yeah.
She
I
keeps, you know,
that's
sending
happened.
bots and whatnot.
That's happened to me too, and that's why I always leave the
Yeah.
door open. You know, I always say, hey,
And that's
listen,
what
it
she
don't
does
work
with
out.
the speaking engagements.
Yeah.
You know, like, because she'll see those people again at these trade shows.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's when she reconnects with them.
That's funny. I used to do, speaking engagements as well. I spoke at Big Commerce. Big Commerce invited me to their headquarters in Austin, Texas. It was
Nice.
amazing, amazing. Let me tell you, crazy. It was so good. Just like Google, just like Google. They got swings. They got ping pong tables, arcades, all the food you could ever want. You don't need, like, literally, I'm not kidding, like really good food, like Fiji waters, and it's crazy. Okay, all the employees. But yeah, it was cool, man. Yeah.
You're saying I should apply for a job there. Yeah, some nice perks, right? Stuff like that. So let me ask you a little bit about how you keep yourself organized. I understand, you know, please don't say scripts. I'm gonna, just kidding. You can say it if you want to. But how do you stay on top of, you know, what your to-do list is? Like not so much like organizing ads, but just keeping yourself organized and, you know,
Right.
staying on deadline and prioritizing.
Well, I
Do
live
you have
in
a system?
yeah, I live and die by my calendar.
Yeah.
I live and die by my calendar. Okay. I even schedule my work.
Yeah. Oh, like in blocks kind
Yeah.
of thing, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be like, all right, I got a meeting here, but listen, I got to take care of, you know what I mean? I live and die by my calendar, you know what I mean? And that keeps me organized, you know? And if I can't fit it on the calendar, then that means I can't do it, you know what I mean? So, you know, that's the way I work off that. And I always prep before, the day before. So it's not like my calendar happens live. I pretty much know, at least within 24 hours, what's going to happen tomorrow. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? You know what I mean? And I plan accordingly. You know, no, 90% of the time it goes as planned. But sometimes, you get this call, this guy, you know,
Yeah.
whatever, you know, you ebb and flow. But for the most part, I live and die on the
Yeah.
calendar.
from what I understand from Jennifer, this role would be limited in client contact because we have account managers, so they're like your liaison with the client and they coordinate all the account activities. So it's like, say we have this client, you know, they're a independent retail jewelry store, and the account manager does everything else. Like they're making sure all of the social media is getting done, email marketing, the blogs on the website, like with website maintenance, like they're coordinating everything, and then you're kind of like doing your thing and just making sure you're staying within whatever the strategy is, and then they would mostly talk to the client. So it sounds like, from what I understand from Jennifer, it's going to be more, you know, not like you're able to focus all day, not like a lot of clients coming in and interrupting you all day and saying, I have a new problem, you know?
Yeah.
So, which is nice. It's like, I used to do the account management here. It's like, I have to say, I love it so much more not being interrupted by clients all day.
Yeah.
I don't miss that.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, no, that's great. That way you're in the middle of something, you don't lose focus. You can just
Yeah. And it's like, if anything, it would be someone internal, like an account manager, that would be like slacking you, and you know.
right.
And I think most of the like the way we operate, it's especially with Courtney is super organized and orderly kind of person, and so it's like you're gonna know ahead of time, like this is what we're doing with these ads,
Right.
and this is the strategy. So it's not gonna be like, you know, every other day, like, oh, we're changing this, we're changing that. It's like, no, this is the strategy, and then, you know, we'll discuss whatever might need to be changed. So it's not even like, you know, constantly, you know, throwing different curveballs at you.
Right. Right.
And of course, it's like it also isn't going to stay stagnant. It's not like this is the strategy. We won't move.
Right.
Like of course not. Like we're like you were saying, like you have to have negative keywords, things like that. Like
Right on.
yeah, and you monitor it. And, yeah, we have things like a client who accidentally because we were still doing some of his ads, and then he wanted to have one campaign where he was doing it himself, and he set it at what was it? I want to say like $100 a day, but never put a stop date or a budget limit to stop it, like whatever. You know,
Oh my God.
And I think it went up to $10,000, and he was like, "What happened?" It's like, dude, it's like now you see why you should pay us to do it. But that's an example of like just checking. It, like even if we're not doing it, and you but just just be a decent person and tell the client, hey, you're overspending on this, even though they're the one that wanted to do it themselves. Still keep an eye on it for them and just be like, hey, not sure if you want to be spending this much, you know?
Yeah.
Like, things like that.
And not
So
making
we're
them up,
always
yeah.
just monitoring and seeing how things are doing.
Like I said, I mean, education, it only brings good things. You know, they're either going to learn and become an advocate for you. Yeah. Or they're not going to learn and be like, oh my God, I will pay you to do it. Don't let You know, that's why I love it. It's a brilliant model. Brilliant. I mean, seriously, it's brilliant. I mean, like I said, I brought that to my agency in the past. So the fact that your foundation is this, I mean, like, yes, sign me up.
Sorry, I was just thinking. I don't want to forget. I'm like, I think I have it on here, but okay, yeah. I just want to make sure I mention before I forget that Teresa told you this is part time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like 20, 25 hours. Okay. Yeah. And Jennifer said that she looked at the time lots because we lock all of our time for everything. This is why we want to know how long things take and plan out roles and job costing and everything. So she estimates 20 to 25 hours, but she does want it to go to full time. That's her plan. But we need to get somebody in the role who we start you out part time with what we have now. Make sure that you're able to do the job because it's really not an easy job. I think people think that ads is easy and it's not. And so we need to make sure we have somebody in that role who is going to be a good fit and stay. And then Jennifer will bring in more business because, like I was saying earlier, she's always generating leads at these trade shows, but she actually turns down work because she needs another person, to do this. So she can't take on more ad clients unless she knows that there's somebody reliable who knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
so she can very quickly bring in more clients.
That's wonderful.
And scale it up to a full-time role.
Right, as she feels comfortable. Yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, every single time I joined an agency, I always joined them, and almost like this phase, before they started making, a few $1 million a month, and I help, and it's just, it feels like deja vu almost, in a good way, and like I said, I'm looking for my agency home. Where's home? I've never quit or been fired ever in my entire life. I'm 40, almost 5 years old. I call myself a young dinosaur. Over 20 years experience. Been doing this since I was 16.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, that's why I'm looking at you guys. You guys really interest me because of, you sound like me. We're into the same thing, That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So do you have any questions for me at this point? Is there any questions about the company or about the role?
No, I think I got a pretty good idea here. I mean, if I make the cut, I'm sure I'll have more questions and we'll have a great conversation with Jennifer, I'm sure. But
I think she'll definitely appreciate talking to you. And I don't remember. I'm just looking at. Oh, you're in Florida. You're currently in Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in Florida.
We always have to ask because people give their resumes and then they're like, no, that's not where I am. It's like, well, why is your resume?
Why does your resume say that? Yeah.
So that's always good. I always like when people are in Eastern time. They don't have to remember.
There you go. There you go. Yeah,
because we have people on Central, and our designer, he's the only one on Pacific, so he's easier to remember. But some of our clients are like, oh wait, you're on Central. I have to give them the Central and Eastern time instead of the meeting.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume I always ask this, but I mean, you've already done, remote work, and I assume you have a reliable computer and internet, so that you can, because you know, the rule would be contract to start, so you use your own computer, and then once we bring somebody on as an employee, then we provide them with a company-owned computer.
Oh, okay. I mean, well, I got my own stuff, but whatever
And
works for
it's
you
all
guys.
cloud-based, like we don't, you know,
Yeah.
so we have, you know, we have Dropbox, and you can just sync Dropbox with your hard drive, and you can just use, I think you probably know this, a lot of people have really a hard time understanding this, that you're not like downloading, uploading, you sync it, and then you just go right into Dropbox and you make your edits.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some people just, they still keep downloading and uploading, I'm like, stop doing.
It sinks.
Oh my
It sinks.
So,
Absolutely.
I also want to give you a heads up. So this is my first round of interviews today, and then I'm going to be interviewing through Thursday, and I'm out next Friday. So I just want to give you a realistic timeline that it's most likely either Thursday or since I'm out Friday, it might be the Monday after that I'll be getting back to everybody and letting you know what's going on. And then to give you a little more of a explanation of our process. So Jennifer does the next interview, and then we do what we call a trial day, which is usually more like 3 days because most people can't do it in one day, where we give you assignments for actual clients.
Okay.
Of course, I'm sure if you're used to this, you have to sign an NDA if you're going to look at actual, you know, client information.
Yeah.
And then do it all through email because it's easy. So you execute the assignment, send deliverables back through email, and it's usually between like 8 and 10 hours of work. Actually, well, it might be a little bit less for this role because when it's an account manager or project manager, it's definitely like 8 to 10. And it is paid work because we don't expect people to work for free, but it is a lower rate than whatever the job would actually pay because it's kind of a compromise because half the things, like we're not really getting something usable. Sometimes we get some stuff that's usable, so it's like we figure it's fair that it's like it's not what we would actually pay. So mostly to say it's like that's not what the rate would be for the actual job, is because a trial day pays a little less. And I don't know the exact rate because I don't do the financials, but if we do a trial day, then Teresa has that information.
Brilliant. I did the same thing myself. I called it a paid trial. I did the same thing myself. I agree. Yep.
So yeah, and then I have to double check with Jennifer, we have executive coaches that we have leveraged in the past who they interview more for communication skills, sort of like temperament, personality, like things like that, and you know, and they give us their impression of candidates. So I'm just not positive if that would be definitely in the process for this role, but just want to give you a heads up that there might be that additional interview.
That's
and
cool.
we move this along pretty quickly. So it's like Teresa, me, then Jennifer the next week, then the trial day the next week. So it doesn't drag out for like 6 months. I don't want you to think that it's like that, but we do want to be thorough because we want to make sure we're getting the right people in the right roles.
Yep. I mean, it sounds like you got your process solid.
Oh yeah, I'm all about process. All right, so if you don't have any other questions for me, then I think we're good, and I'll be in touch. I will not ghost you. We don't do that, so either way, I will let you know.
Yeah, even if it's a no.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think it's very rude to ghost people, so I would definitely be in touch.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. All right, well, I hope you have a great weekend.
You do the same. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
His face changed. We get to record it.